Hey, what's up guys? I'm Theo Joe, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can get all cable channels for free no matter what cable company you have by basically tricking your cable box into passing all cable channels to you even if you don't subscribe to some of them. I'll explain what you need to do this and then of course why it works as well, and I think you're really going to be surprised at just how simple it is. We're going to take advantage of how the cable company system delivers channels to you and limits which ones you have access to, and then remove that limit. So you'll have access to all channels without having to pay for any of them. You see, this is how the cable company system works. When the cable company goes to deliver service to people, it produces one single signal, it's the same, that is sent to all houses and includes all channels by default. Now, this is because it's too difficult to produce millions of different signals for each household, but obviously we can't watch all these channels unless you pay for them. And that's because they have a system in place that restricts which channels you can watch, even though technically they all go to your house. By default, every single channel signal sent to your house is attenuated, which means that it's weakened to the point of not really being useful. So your TV by default can't watch a channel unless the cable box amplifies that signal, and it only does that if you subscribe to that individual channel. So when you buy a TV package, a separate signal is sent from the cable company to your cable box, letting it know it should amplify certain channels that you pay for so they can be passed onto the TV and watched. And if you don't buy a channel, the signal remains too weak and it's not amplified by the cable box, so your TV can't display it. However, we can actually amplify those TV signals ourselves, so it'll be passed through the cable box already amplified, meaning that any channel you want to watch will be available to stream on the TV. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to amplify the entire signal coming in from the cable company. And we can use some basic physics and mathematical principles to do this, which I'll explain. So now that you know what needs to be done, let's go over how to achieve that. Now you're really only going to need three things. First of all, of course, you're going to need the coaxial cable that goes from your wall into your cable box. Then you're going to need some CDs or DVDs, either one will work, and you're going to need about 4 of them. And finally, you're going to need some sort of tape. I'm just using duct tape, but any kind will do. Now I'm sure you're wondering how a couple of CDs are going to possibly amplify the signal coming in through the coaxial wire. Well, the same properties that allow a CD to be written onto by a computer and store data will also allow us to manipulate the digital and analog signal going through the wire. Before I walk you through everything though, let me explain. You see, every type of material has a property called inductivity. The more inductivity, the more it is able to induce an EM field when a current passes through it. CDs and DVDs are specifically designed and constructed with materials of high inductivity. That makes it easier for computer CD writers to write data to the CDs, and it also makes that data more durable because it's less susceptible to interference. So if an electrical current is passed through a material of high inductivity, like a CD, it induces a stronger current back onto itself, amplifying that signal further. And if we do this multiple times with multiple materials, that signal will be amplified even greater each time. So if we place CDs along the wire at predetermined intervals to improve efficiency, we can actually amplify that cable signal without the cable box at all. And that way it can pass right through to the TV and all channels will be watchable. We also know from Maxwell's law that when two capacitive plates are placed next to each other, they induce an electromagnetic field between them. So we can use that as well, and what we want to do is arrange the CDs in pairs so that the EM field amplifies the signal. Now that may have sounded very complicated, but in practice it's very simple, and I'll show you what to do. So enough talk, let's go over to the TV and I'll walk you through it. Alright, so we're at the TV, and why don't we see some channels we don't have. For example, we'll do HBO channel 200. Got a lot of great shows on there, but I don't have it subscribed. And as you can see, it's going to say channel unavailable. It wants you to pay for the subscription to call the cable company. Obviously, we don't want to do that, so hopefully we can try out the trick and we'll get the free cable, all the channels, without having to pay for them. So let's go do that. Okay, so the first thing we're clearly going to need to do is unplug the coaxial cable that goes from your wall to your cable box. You don't need to unplug it from the cable box itself, just this side. And if it also goes directly from the wall into your TV, that's okay as well. Just unplug it from the wall side and we can move on. Okay, so next you want to get your CDs, or in this case DVDs. It doesn't really matter, but you probably want them to be blank just so they're not important. I don't recommend using, movies or music CDs or anything like that because you might want to listen to them. And then, so we're just going to basically slide these onto the cable just like this, and I recommend you put the data side inward, and that's just so when we go to tape it, you don't get any tape residue or damage the data side anyway, so you can reuse these later. And so just slide on the 2 pairs facing inward for both of them, and then we can tape them on in a second. So once the CDs are on, we are ready to space them out using some tape, and I'll show you how to do that. So we can use some scissors to help out with that. Cut off some lengths that'll probably be about the same circumference as the CDs. This should be a good length. And then we can take one of the pairs, and then this is kind of tricky, but you shouldn't have a problem with it. We just want to space it out and use the tape to hold them spaced out. And then we're just going to hold this and go around the CD just like this. And as you can see, it's going to kind of hold them apart just like this. All right, perfect. So now as you can see, the tape's kind of holding them apart, and then you can maybe wrap it around a bit. It looks kind of ugly, so this is just a quick job from me, but if you want to spend more time on it to get it looking nicer, and then we can go do that for the second one. So what I kind of found is it might actually be easier to just take these off first before even putting it on and spacing it out, and then you can just kind of wrap it around your finger and roll it around right onto the tape, just like this. Again, probably could look better if I spent a little bit more time on it, but this will do for now. And then we can pop these right back onto the tape, and then you don't have to do it while it's on the cable, which might be pretty difficult. And then once you have these on, you can space them out even more and kind of secure this with more tape and just tape it right on directly. And then you can see it's going to stay in position like that. And then we can do that for the other one as well. And just tape it right to the wire. So now they're a little bit more spaced out, and this looks really weird, but it's what it's going to look like. You could probably get it to look better if you really tried. And maybe if you wanted to hide these, you could again put it more behind the entertainment center or anything like that, so it's not really obvious, but I had to put it here so you guys could actually see it. So before this is going to actually take effect, we just need to reset the cable box and the TV. And if you don't have a cable box, if it goes right into the TV, of course you just need to reset the TV. So the first thing we want to do is reset the cable box. So that would be this thinner cable. So unplug that, let it go for a few seconds, and then plug it back in. And it's important to do it in this order, and I'll explain why in a second. And then we can unplug the TV after the cable box is all restarted completely. You can unplug that, and then just plug it back in. And the reason we have to do it in that order is because first the cable box resets and then sees the amplified signal and passes it on, and then the TV resets and it sees the amplified signal come from the cable box, and then it passes it on to be displayed. So now we can go and check out and see if it worked. All right, so we just did the trick. We've got the CDs on here, and we can check out if HBO and the other channels are available right now. HBO we know is not available, so we can check that out. And all right, looks like it's showing up now. Perfect. So basically the wires are amplifying the signal right now, and they're sending it through to the cable box, and the TV is able to see that signal because it's not too weak, it's amplified enough, and it's working perfectly. So don't move any of the wires or anything like that because it could affect it or make the image look bad, but we know this worked, so that's awesome. So there you have it. As you saw, the premium channels that weren't available before now are, and I can watch HBO as much as I want, any other channel as well. Now this should work all over the world. I believe that all cable companies use the same, if not a similar method for delivering cable channels to subscribers. The only exception I can think of is if you have fiber TV as opposed to coaxial, because then it's a digital signal, not analog, but it should still be worth a try. And if it doesn't work, unfortunately it's possible that your cable company just uses a different system. But anyway, for those of you who it does work for, congratulations on being able to watch any channel you want now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know down in the comment section what you thought so I know you enjoyed it. Maybe tell us what cable channels or shows you're gonna watch now that you get them all for free. If you guys want to check out some other videos, I've got those on the right hand side. You can just click those or look in the description for the same link like if you're on a phone. And if you want to subscribe, I make new videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I think it should be worth it. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys, so thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Have a good one.